To him, yeah. Okay, Ayin Ches Amud Aleph, we're starting the new parak called Oso ve'espino. It's a very straightforward biblical law. The Torah says that you're not allowed to slaughter a parent and a child on the same day. Now, the Gemara on Amud Beis is going to clarify whether that parent animal is either the father and the mother, the father or the mother. We'll see. But a parent and a child animal cannot be slaughtered on the same day. And as will become clear, this applies to both chulin and to kachim. So the Mishnah says, Oso ve'espino noheg bein ba'aretz bein b'chutz la'aretz. This halacha applies both in Eretz Yisrael and in chutz la'aretz. And Rashi says that's a no-brainer. You didn't really need to tell me that because it's a mitzvah haguf. It's a bodily commandment that is on the person, it's not dependent on the agriculture. But for completeness, the Mishnah lists that. Bifnei habayis v'shelo bifnei habayis, it applies whether or not there's a temple. And b'chulin uv'mukdashin, and it applies to both chulin and to kachim animals. Animals have been designated for sacrifices. So keitzad. So let's go through some permutations. Hashochet oso ve'espino chulin b'chut, shneim ksherim v'hasheni sofeg eso arboim. The most straightforward case is if you have two chulin animals, a parent and a child. So it doesn't matter, so Rashi points out, it doesn't matter whether you slaughter the parent first or the child first. In both cases, whichever animal is slaughtered second is the one for which you have incurred a violation. Okay, so you're going to get malchus for the second animal. So if I take two chulin animals, well, just for simplicity, for the sake of keeping it simple, the first animal is the mom, the second animal is the child. Okay? So you slaughter the mother first, and then you slaughter the child. You don't get malchus for slaughtering the mother because you've slaughtered a single animal. But as soon as you slaughter the child, you get malchus for that. And, by the way, is the meat still kosher? The meat is still kosher, except when it comes to kachim, as we'll see. Now, kachim b'chutz, harishon chayiv kares u'shneim pesulim u'shneim sofgen esar boim. Now let's say you take two kachim animals and you slaughter them outside the temple, a parent and a child. Now for the first animal that you've shechted outside, what is the penalty for shchutei chutz if you take a kachim animal and slaughter it outside the temple? The penalty is kares, plus you get malchus for that. So for the first animal, you violated shchutei chutz, you get malchus for the first animal. You can't use that animal because it's a kachim animal that's been shechted outside. You've rendered it essentially treif. The second animal is also kachim, but you don't get malchus for shchutei chutz. Why? Because I only get malchus for shchutei chutz if the animal, had it been offered in the temple, would have been usable. But since this animal is not usable in the temple because its mother was just slaughtered, so I don't get malchus for shchutei chutz on the second animal. But I do get malchus for what? For oso ve'espino, for slaughtering the child on the same day as the mother. So both slaughtering the first animal and the second animal gets malchus. And by the way, it doesn't matter whether it's one person shechting both animals or two people, each one shechting one animal. Whatever animal is shechted second, that shochet gets malchus for oso ve'espino. Next, chulin bifnim shneim psulim v'hasheni sofeg eso arboim. Now, if I take two chulin animals and I bring them inside the temple, so they're both pasul. For the first one, I don't get malchus because even though I've committed a violation of chulin ba'azara, of bringing chulin into the temple, that's not a malchus-able offense. You don't get malchus. It's only a violation of the mitzvahs aseh, but I don't get malchus for bringing chulin into the azara or slaughtering chulin in the azara. So the first animal is treif, because you can't eat chulin that was shechted in the temple, but you don't get malchus for it. The second animal is chulin inside the azara, but I get malchus for what? For oso ve'espino. For this, right? Because it's the child of the mother that I just shechted 5 minutes ago, and therefore I get malchus for that. Next, kachim bifnim. Now let's say I take two kachim animals and I correctly slaughter them both inside, but it's oso ve'espino. So harishon kasher upater v'hasheni sofeg eso arbayim upasel. So for the first animal, everything was done correctly. It's a regular kachim animal shechted in the temple. But the second animal is problematic because it's oso ve'espino. So I get malchus for that, for oso ve'espino. And the animal is puzzle because it can't be used as a korban because of oso ve'espino. Only an animal that can theoretically be eaten can be used or can be brought as a korban. If this is mechusar zman, if the Torah says I can't bring this animal because of oso ve'espino, I can't shecht it today, so then it can't be used as a korban and it's totally puzzle. Now let's look at the next permutation. Chulin v'kodshim b'chutz. My first animal is chulin. The mother, let's say, for argument's sake, is chulin. The child is kodshim. Okay? And I slaughter them both outside the temple. Harishon kasher upater, v'hasheni sofek esvar bayim upasal. So the first animal, which is chulin, no problem, totally done correctly. Chulin outside the temple. But the kodshim animal is going to get malchus for what? For oso ve'espino. You don't get malchus for shchutei chutz. Why? Because it can't be used as a korban anymore because of oso ve'espino. The second animal is pasim. Next, kodshim v'chulin b'chutz. Now let's reverse it. What if the first animal, the mother, is kodshim, and the child is chulin, and I do them both outside the temple? So harishon chayiv kares upasol v'hasheni kasher u'shneim sofkin esoar boim. So the first one, which was kodshim, I did it outside the temple, so that's shchutei chutz. So I get kares, and I'm going to get malchus. It's not usable. It's puzzle. The second animal is what? Is the chulin animal. That's oso ve'espino. So I get malchus for that because of oso ve'espino. But the meat of the animal is still kosher. Okay. Chulin v'kodshim bifnim. Now let's look at the case. Up until now, we've talked about chulin and kodshim outside the temple. Now let's talk about chulin and kodshim that's brought inside the temple. So the first example is first the mother's chulin and the child is kodshim. I bring them both in the temple and I shech them. So shneim psulin, both are going to be puzzle. The chulin one because it's chulin ba'azara. This kodshim animal is puzzle because of oso ve'espino. But I don't get malchus for the first animal because you don't get malchus for chulin ba'azara. V'hasheni sofek esoar boim. And the second person who shechted the kodshim animal gets malchus because of oso ve'espino. Next, kodshim v'chulin bifnim. Now let's reverse it. The first animal is kodshim, the mother's kodshim, the child is chulin. So in that case, harishon kasher upater, v'hasheni sofek esoar boim upasal. So the first animal, kodshim animal inside the temple, totally correct. Everything's fine. It's a kosher korban, no infraction at all. Second animal, which is chulin ba'azara and oso ve'espino. So I get malchus for oso espino, and the meat of the animal is puzzle because of chulin ba'azara. Next, chulin b'chutz ubifnim. Now let's look at another case. Both animals are chulin, but I shecht the first chulin animal outside the temple, and I shecht the child of that mother inside the temple. So harishon kasher upater, v'hasheni sofek esoar boim upasal. So the first animal, the mother that was chulin, that was shechted outside the temple, totally kosher, no problem. Second animal, shechted inside the temple, you got two problems. Chulin ba'azara and oso ve'espino. I get malchus for oso espino, but it's puzzle because of chulin ba'azara. Kodshim b'chutz ubifnim. Now, if I take two kodshim animals and I slaughter the first one outside and the second one inside, so harishon chayiv kares ushneim sofken esoar boim ushneim psulim. So the kodshim animal that I shechted outside, I get kares and malchus for shchutei chutz. Second animal, which is kodshim, but I brought it inside. So it's not a problem of shchutei chutz, but it's a problem of oso ve'espino, and therefore it's puzzle, and I get malchus for that.
No, but when you say puzzle, you can't sell it, make money. It's completely garbage.
It seems that it's totally asur bahana, but it's not clear. The language of puzzle is not so. It's not so descriptive. But one thing we know, it's not kosher.
Right, you can't eat it.
You can't eat it. Whether or not you can get hana from it, it's unclear. Chulin bifnim uvachutz, harishon pasul upater v'hasheni sofek esoar boim. Now let's see. Now let's look at the case of you got two chulin animals. We talked about two chulin animals previously, but in that case, the first one was outside and the second one was inside. Now we reverse the order. Two chulin animals. Mother is inside, child is outside. So harishon pasal upater. So the first one is CHULLIN ba'azara. So you don't get any infraction, but you've pasaled the meat of that animal because it's CHULLIN ba'azara. Ba'hasheni sofeg esvarboyim. But the second one that was CHULLIN outside is osov ve'espino. You get malchus for that, but the meat will be kosher, but the meat is still kosher. Kodshim, and finally kodshim bifnim uvachutz. And if I take two kodshim animals and we reverse the order of how I do it, I do the mother inside and the offspring outside. So harishon kosher upater. So the first animal is totally kosher because it's a kodshim animal done inside the temple. V'hasheni sofek esvar boim upasel. And the second kodshim animal, you get malchus for oso ve'espino. You don't get malchus for shchutei chutz because it's already pasel, and it's pasel. Okay. We did all of the permutations. Now let's take a look at the Gemara. The Gemara now says, Tanu Rabbana, Minayin la'oso ve'espino shenoig b'mukdashin. So the Brisa first starts off by saying, how do you know that the law of oso ve'espino applies to sacrificial animals? Tamulomar shor ochesev o'ez ki yivoled uchsiv basrei v'shor ose oso ve'espino lo sishchatu biyom echad. Limed al oso ve'espino shenoig b'mukdashin. So the Bryce answers very simply. Now you should be somewhat familiar with these psukim because they're from Parshas Emor, which we lane on Yantiv, which we lane on Pesach and on Sukkot all the time. Right? And the Torah starts off with Shor ochesev o'ez ki yivoled v'haya shivas yamim tachas imo. What's that halacha? The Torah says that when you have a sacrificial animal, you cannot bring it as a korban until it's at least gone through 7 days of life, and on the 8th day you can bring it as a korban. You can't bring a newborn as a korban. It has to be at least 8 days old. And then right afterwards, the Torah gives us the halacha of oso ve'espino. So that teaches me, in the context of the two psukim are adjacent to each other, that teaches me that the laws of oso ve'espino apply to kodshim animals. So then the Brisa says, ve'ema b'mukdashin in b'chulin lo. So then maybe it only applies to kodshim animals. Maybe chulin animals you could do. There's no isser of oso ve'espino. So the Brisa says, shor hifsek ha'inyan. So this says, no, for that, the pasuk repeats the word v'shor oseh. Now, if the previous pasuk talking about a newborn animal already said the word shor, why do you have to repeat the word shor in the law of oso ve'espino if it's the very next pasuk? That's to tell me that we're not talking about the same shor that we were talking about in the previous pasuk. It's a different kind of shor, and therefore it's referring to chulin. And that's how I know that oso ve'espino applies also to chulin. But then the Gemara says, ve'ima b'chulin in b'mukdashin lo. So then maybe it's only talking about chulin. If it's a different shor from the previous pasuk, maybe it's only chulin, and the law does not apply to kodshim. So the Gemara says, ksiv v'shor vav mosef al inyan rishon. So the answer is like this, because it says vishor oso ve'espino lo sishchatu biyom echad, and the shor. So it's connecting it to the previous pasuk. So on the one hand, it applies to kodshim because it's connected to the previous pasuk. On the other hand, the extra word shor tells me that it's a different shor as well, and it's therefore talking about both kodshim and chulin. Ima kodshim kilayim lo af oso ve'espino kilayim lo. Well, if it's connected to kodshim, I'll make the following argument. The law of kodshim does not apply to kilayim. If an animal is a crossbreed, let's say a deer mates with a mountain goat, right? If such a thing is possible. They have to be close enough in species to be able to produce an offspring, but that offspring is not kosher as a korban. Let's say a sheep and a goat. If they produce an offspring, we know that that animal can't be brought as a korban. Maybe, therefore, it's not subject to the laws of oso ve'espino. If the mother's a sheep and the offspring is a half-breed, maybe there's no isser. So therefore, why don't you say that if it's connected to kodshim? Alama tanya oso ve'espino noig b'kilayim uv'koi. So why then does the Brisa say that the law of oso ve'espino does apply to a crossbreed, to a half-breed, a mixed breed of animal? And va'od seksiv. And furthermore, to accentuate the question, let me compound the question. The Torah says v'shor oseh. In the context of oso ve'espino, the Torah uses the word seh. And va'omar rava, zeh bana'av kol makom shneimar seh, eno elo lahotzi es hakilayim. That we have another pasuk that talks about say chisavim v'sei izim. That the Torah enumerates using extra verbiage that we're talking about two different kinds of seh. And because of that extra verbiage, we learn that it must be a thoroughbred. So the word, anytime you find the word seh, it must be a purebred animal. It can't be a crossbreed. So I have two reasons to argue why a kilayim animal, a half-breed or a mixed-breed animal, should not be subject to the law of oso ve'espino. Number one, it's connected to kudshim, and we know that mixed-breed animals are not kosher for kudshim. And number two, the word seh appears in the very pasuk, so that's also a reason why it should be excluded from the law of oso ve'espino. So Amar Kra O L'Rabos Asakilayim. So therefore, to deflect that argument, there's an extra word O to tell me when it says Vishor O Seh, it could have said Vishor Viseh. What is the extra word O? It's to tell me that even Kilayim is included in this law of Oso ve'espino. Even a mixed breed animal, you can't slaughter it on the same day as its parent. But wait a minute. Hi omi boy le lechalek desalkadaita chamina adeshachit shor uveno se uveno lo michayev kamash malon lechalek. But the Gemara says, don't tell me that that word o is extra, that I can use a limud to tell me that kilayim is included in this law, because I need the word o to tell me that it's not both, but it's either or. Because if I didn't have the word o, the Torah gives me two examples: vishor and a seh. Do not slaughter the parent and the child on the same day. If I didn't have the word o to tell me either or, I might think that you have to slaughter 4 animals in order to incur the violation: an ox and its child, and a sheep and its child. So comes along the word o to tell me either an ox and its child or a sheep and its child. So the Gemara says mibino nafka. No, you still don't need the word o for that, because you learn that from the word bino, which is written in the singular. So the fact that the child is written in the singular, that proves that I couldn't think that I have to slaughter 4 animals, 2 parents and 2 children. No, but you still need the word o, because even with the word bino, I still could get confused. As the Brisa says, ilu nemar shor v'seh uveno, hayisi omer ad sheyishchot shor v'seh uveno, tamulomar shor oseh oso ve'es bino. So the Brisa says, if I didn't have the crucial words, I might have thought that I'm not going to be liable unless I slaughter 3 animals: an ox, a sheep, and one of those 2 children. Right? So therefore, I need so my lav me o nafka. So isn't the Bryce essentially telling you that the word o tells you that no, it's not 3, you only have to slaughter 2 to be liable, just 1 parent and 1 child. In other words, you're right, the word beno tells me that there's only 1 child involved. But maybe I would think that there's 2 parents involved without the word o. So the Gemara says, lo, me oso. So the Gemara says, no, it's not derived from the word o. It's derived from the word oso ve'espino, oso meaning 1 parent. So the fact that it says oso and it says beno teaches me that we're dealing with 1 parent and 1 child. Why then do I need the word o? It's coming to tell me that kilayim is included in the Yisr. So hanicha l'rabbanan d'miyaser lehu oso, ela l'chananya d'lo miyaser le oso l'chalek minole. So the Gemara says, in a moment, I'm going to show you a machlokus between the Chachamim and Chananya as to whether or not the word oso is necessary. I'm going to give you a little bit of a sneak preview. There's a machlokus between the Chachamim and Chananya as to whether it's just mothers and children or fathers and mothers and children. That a father also is, if you slaughter a father and a child on the same day, you've also incurred the infraction. Chananya says it's either father or mother, and the Chachamim say it's only mother. Now, what's Chananya's proof from that? He uses the word oso to prove to me that it's either father or mother. Okay? Now, we'll get to that in just a minute. But the Gemara says the Chachamim don't need the word oso. So therefore, the word oso, according to the Chachamim, tells me that it's 1 parent and 1 child. But according to Chananya, who uses the word oso to include fathers and not just mothers, then what is he doesn't have the word oso to tell me that it's either or, either a shor or a seh. Doesn't he need the word o for that purpose? And if he needs the word o for that purpose, then where does he get the law that kilayim are included in oso ve'espino? That's our question. So the Gemara answers, lechalek lo tzarich kra, desaver la Rabbi Yonasan, detanya ish asher yikalelas aviv ve'esimo, ainli ela aviv v'imo, aviv shelo imo, v'imo shelo aviv minayin, tamalomar aviv v'imo kilel, aviv kilel imo kilel divrei Rabbi Yoshia. So the Gemara says that Hananya has a consistent approach in Kol HaTorah Kula, in the entire Torah. Anytime the Torah says A and B, it means A or B. And how do I know this? Because he holds like Rabbi Yonasan in a machlokas between Rabbi Yoshia and Rabbi Yonasan. That machlokas between Rabbi Yoshia and Rabbi Yonasan is in reference to the prohibition of cursing one's parents. The Torah says, Ish asher yikalel es aviv ve'es imo, that if a person shall curse his father and his mother, he is put to death. Now, that you might think means you got to curse both mom and dad in order to get the death penalty. How do you know that it's mom or dad, either mom or dad? So according to Rabbi Yoshia, that's why the Torah adds extra verbiage at the end of the pasuk, which says, aviv v'imo kilel, that you've cursed your mom and dad, which is just a recapitulation of the first part of the pasuk. Why does it recapitulate? To tell you that it's not both, it's either or. But Rabbi Yonasan Omer, mashma shneim ke'echad u'mashma echad b'fnei atzma she'yifra l'cha kasuv yachdav. And Rabbi Yonasan says, no, that's not the purpose of the end of the pasuk. It's for another drasha. You don't need to tell me that it's either or. Anytime the Torah says A and B, it's implicit that it's A and B or A or B. Either one. So therefore, the fact that the Torah says, Ish asher yikalel es aviv ve'es imo, means if you curse your father or your mother, you're going to be put to death. And you don't need the word O. And therefore, according to Hananya, you don't need a special word to be mechalek to tell you it's either or. And therefore, since according to him you don't need a special word, again, the word O is available to teach me about kilayim by oso ve'espino. Now, when's the only time that A and B literally means A and B? When the Torah uses the word yachdav. What's an example of that? The Torah says, Lo sacharosh b'shor uvachamor yachdav. You may not plow with an ox and a donkey together, right? So, I love the way the Israelis say the word together, right? Together, right? You cannot plow with an ox and a donkey together. So when the Torah says the word together, it means don't think that there's a prohibition to plow with a donkey or an ox. It's only a prohibition to plow with them when they're under the same plow. But if the Torah would not have said the word yachdav, that A and B would also imply A or B. Okay, my Chananya, my Rabbanan. Now that you've told me that Chananya doesn't need the word O lechalek, what is the shita of Chananya? You told me that he needs the word oso for something else. So what is this machlokus between Chananya and the Rabbanan? The Tanya oso ve'espino nohig ben ekevos ve'no nohig b'zacharim. Chananya omer nohig ben b'zacharim uvein ben ekevos. Because this is the machlokus. The Chachamim say, the Tanakama says, that the prohibition of oso ve'espino is only mother and child. But Chananya says, no, it's mother or father and child. That's the prohibition. So, my time at Derabanan, the Tanya yochel yehi oso ve'espino nohig ben b'zacharim uvein ben ekevos. So what's the Chachamim's reasoning that says only mother and child? So let's look at the Brisa. The Brisa says you might think that oso ve'espino is for either mothers or fathers and their offspring. V'dinhu chiyev kan v'chiyev be'em al habanim. Ma keshechiyev be'em al habanim b'nekevos v'lo b'zacharim, af keshechiyev kan b'nekevos v'lo b'zacharim. So I'll make an argument on one side to argue that it should only be applied to mothers. What's the argument that it should only apply to mothers? Because look at the mitzvah of shiluach hakein, of sending away the mother bird. There's no prohibition, there's no commandment that if the father is there, that you have to send the father away. It only says in the pasuk the mother. So just like over by shiluach hakein, it's the mother bird and not the father bird. So maybe by oso ve'espino, it's the mother animal and not the father animal. Or lo, im amarta be'em alabonim sheken lo asaba mizuman kisheina mizuman tomer ba'oso ve'espino shasabo mizuman kisheino mizuman. But maybe I'll make a counter argument that there's no comparison, because we see that the law of shiluach hakein is much more limited in its scope, Because there the Torah says that it says, Ki karei kan sipor lefanecha, that if you discover a bird's nest, which implies that it's not your birds, it's not birds that you're raising, it's that you happen to come across them so that they're from Hefker. And that's taka the halacha. The mitzvah of shiluach hakein only applies when the birds and eggs in the nest don't belong to you.
So if it's in your backyard, you can take them other...
So technically, yes, but that's a much longer discussion. But yeah, technically, midioraisa, if the nest is in your property, there's no mitzvah of shiluach hakein. Whereas by oso ve'es beno, the mitzvah, the prohibition applies whether the animals are yours or whether they're not yours. There's a prohibition. So perhaps, just like the scope of oso ve'es beno includes more different scenarios, maybe it also includes fathers as well as mothers. So tamulomar oso, echad velo shnayim. So therefore, what does the word oso teach? Oso means it, meaning the parent. Only one parent is included in the prohibition, not both parents. So achar shecholak hakasav zachisi ledin chiyev kan v'chiyev be'em alabanim mak shechiv be'em alabanim b'nekevos v'lo b'zecharim af shechiv kan b'nekevos v'lo b'zecharim. So therefore, the Brisa says, listen, once I know from the word oso that only one parent is included in this prohibition, now I can successfully connect it to shiluach hakein and deduce that it's the mother. Because just like b'shiluach hakein, it's one parent and that one parent is the mother, so too when the Torah says it's only one parent, it must mean the mother and not the father. V'im nafshach lomer, but then the Brisa says, and if you're not happy with that answer, I'll give you another answer. Beno, mi shebeno korach acharav, yatsa zachar shebeno korach acharav. The Torah says, beno, its child. What does it mean, its child? It means a child that is attached or what's the word I'm trying to... I lost the word for a second. A child that is attached to its parent. Clings, that's the word I was looking for. Thank you. A child that clings to its parent, right? So which parent does a child cling to? Its mother. It doesn't cling to its father. And therefore the word beno implies that it's only inclusive of a parent that clings to its child. Whose child clings to it, and that's the mother and not the father. That's with animals and humans. With humans, they cling till the age of around 40, 45. But with animals, it's a little bit less, right? But anyway, the point is that that's how I know that it's the mother. But wait a minute. So mayim nafshach loimer. So that we concluded the Brisa. The Gemara says, why did the Brisa feel it necessary to give a second answer? What was wrong with the first answer, which said that, listen, oso means only one parent, and therefore connected to shiluach hakein. So the Gemara says, "V'chi tema oso zachar mashma hareyu omer beno mishbeno karach acharav yatsa zachar shein beno karach acharav." So the answer is like this. Maybe you would be dissatisfied with the first answer because look at the grammar. What is oto? Is that zachar or nekeva? Oto. It's masculine. It's zachar. And if it was going to be feminine, what would it be? Mendel, osa. So why does if the Torah is referring to a mother only, it should have said osa and not oso. So therefore, I'm not happy with that first answer. Therefore, I need the second answer that says beno implies its child, meaning the child that clings to the parent. And that's how I know that it's the mother and not the father. But ulachananya, but remember, what does Chananya hold? He says it's both mothers and fathers are included in the prohibition. So where does he get that from? He gets it from the word oso, because since oso is conjugated in the masculine, ksiv oso de mashma zachar. It's mashma that it's a father. Uchesiv beno, misha beno karach acharav de mashma nekeva. Hilkach nohig bein bezacharim bein benekevos. And Chananya says, no, it's both. The word oso implies the male, so it's the father. Beno, its child, implies the parent whose child clings to it, which includes the mother. So therefore, according to Chananya, both father and mother are included in the prohibition of oso ve'es beno. Bottom line is that you see from this brisa that Chananya uses the word oso to teach me that fathers are included in the prohibition. If he uses the word for that purpose, then he can't be using the word oso to single out that it's either or, it's either shor ve'es beno or se ve'es beno. And therefore that led to our next question, then doesn't he need the word o, lechalek, to tell you that it's either shor and its child or a se and its child? And to that the Gemara had said no, And Hananya goes like Rabbi Yonasan, who says that anytime the Torah says A and B, it means A or B as well. Okay, so anyway, the Amar Rav Huna Bar Chia Amar Shmuel Hilchasa Kechananya. And Rav Huna Bar Chia says in the name of Shmuel, the halacha is like Hananya, and this gets then into the next discussion about Shmuel being l'shitaso, being consistent according to this rule, that the oso vespino applies to both the father and mother. And we'll hold it here for today.